intellectual property you are developing with that. Okay. Now, if you can get this IP from somewhere and do something with this, it's a little lower in IP value, but still a good innovation. Then you can have innovation. So innovation you can do on every level. You can do innovation in distribution, in manufacturing, in material, in production, in tool making, in people, the way people are trained, or the kind of people you take in, every kind of this thing. So cost of innovation is always related to the benefit from innovation which you're going to do. $20 billion, 10 years, I'm not sure we'll get it or not. That's another thing. 3 lakhs is nothing. Anything else? Yeah. She wants to speak. Then yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So my question is, as a student or as a working professional, we are used to more and more formalization, but there comes the demand for innovation, and you're saying that formalization and innovation doesn't go hand in hand. So what is your advice to these working professional and student fraternity to keep our bone intact in terms of idea and innovation?
See, that's very I feel that's a very genuine problem which we as a country are facing. The education system we have has unfortunately gone into that way that you need to trust your what do you say, faculties which can recall certain things instead of actually understanding and interpreting that in a different way. But I believe there's a lot of experimentation happening on that as well. There's a lot of innovation happening in education. I can only tell you that's why probably design or designers come close to it, because the pattern of education is different. It is not the same way as normal education is given. There's a lot of handwork. There's a lot of things which you have to do, and these things are never marked. You don't get numbers. They have to be, somebody has to come and shout at you and say, "Ganda hai, theek nahi hai, phir se karo." You know, so there is no other way, but you have to do it again. Another way of doing that. I do see a lot of schools experimenting with children. You know, there are no, for example, Krishnamurti Foundation schools, Rishi Valley, Sayatri and all that. They don't have exams till 10th standard. Okay, and a lot of emphasis on arts and crafts and using hands and things like that. So I do see a very distinct difference when I go and give lecture to those students, that they're not afraid of asking you questions. You know, they're not, because they don't have to go and prepare for something which they need to get marks which they need to show to their parents. You know, I think it's a lot of demand we put on our children. We want our children to get good marks instead of having a good understanding of the subject. We do that. But why? Because we want them to enter a good college, and the college does not understand understanding, it understands only marks. It's such a funny word. And the worst thing is, I'll tell you something, a lot of it comes back on us. Us means you, not me. Don't just look at me like that. People who had HRs in companies. You know, I think the most innovative evaluations, appraisal systems the companies have, they don't evaluate on, I'm sure most of you now do this, you don't evaluate people on ये 9:30 बजे आता है, 6 बजे जाता है, इतना घंटा अपना टेबल पे बैठा रहता है. Is that the evaluation? We don't do that. We want to know ये कहाँ, where did he move from, you know, what was his exposure, what all trainings did he take, वो training करता है, sir क्या हुआ, we do all that, you know. And I think a lot of that weight of changing that education system is on us as people. I find even in design schools, when people join us, there's so much unlearning which has to be done, especially the engineers who come in. So much unlearning you have to do before you can then start training them into thinking fresh. You know, carpet always has to be like this, with this motif. You just go and think, where in the world would you find a motif like this? Which culture is this coming from? Is this Indian? Is this Arabic? What is this? It's just because the designer who sat on the set, सब लोग ऐसा गोल गोल कुछ बनाते हैं, I'll also make something like that. You know, it's like we get into this thing. So I think if each of us takes this up and says, okay, I'm going to actually look into the content, the material, the learning part of it. I think in our own small sphere, we can change things. It doesn't matter you change 20 people's life, but then you do that. I mean, my company for last 20 years, we work with hundreds and hundreds of clients, but I feel if I have been able to change 20 of my clients into thinking about how to evaluate people, how to judge people, how to grow people, I think I have done my job.
We'll take couple more questions. Sorry to interject. We'll take couple more questions and then break for tea.
Okay. Yeah, you were asking something.
Firstly, I would like.
You can ask.
Okay. Firstly, I would like to say that it indeed motivated me, and I want to know that the institute which you are coming up with, like Institute of Innovation, I can actually link it with something talent. Talent is what would be taught over here. So can you please throw some light on interface between talent and talent seekers?
Yeah, I'll tell you my experience with this. See, we have quite a big team which has worked on this content building for last 2 years. We met all the IDEOs of the world, and in fact, I was sitting here when he was talking about IDEO, and I've got a mail from Jocelyn from IDEO saying that they need some people from India to work in Africa, and it's some Rockefeller Foundation project, and it has to be Indian designers working on that. So would my office supply these designers? Talent. Okay, we've been working on this. We've been meeting people all around, but I made a mistake. I didn't meet any HR manager. Okay, I'm telling you, and I regret that now. I'll tell you why. Because I met Rajiv Bajaj. I spent a lot of time with him discussing with Kirloskar, with Larry Liffer, with GK Van Patter and Danvate, and we made a program which I think is the best, and all these guys also think innovation. This is the course. It's been validated by various universities now. Like I said, a big corporate house came yesterday, and they've been pumping quite a good amount of money, and they're saying, can you design the course, but please also design the building for us, and can you also design that folder and all that, brochure and things like that. So we said, yeah, we'll do that end to end. It's only when we did the press conference for this and launched it in Pune, and we made some brochures ready, and I called up Rajiv saying, boss, ready hai, so I'm sending you this, please send people now, enroll connect. He says, he's my advisor. He says, yeah, I'll send it to my HR guy. I said, what? He said, yeah, because he's the guy who takes the decisions, who goes. So I said, oh, okay. So I send it to the HR guy, and HR guy I never met. So he suddenly called me, Sudhir, I need some more details about this. He said, I said, okay. Now, it's happening with almost each and every company. Now I realize that the innovation, see the power you guys have. Why do you think I came here? But that's true. We in that whole cycle forgot that the moment you have to sell a course like this, it is not to be sold to the management or to the people who are innovating. It is to be sold to the HR guys, to people who actually manage the talent within the company. Okay. Now we've had some brush with HR in the past. We have developed a few appraisal programs for a company, and a few self-filling, self-appraisal formats and stuff, which has got some awards and some HR somewhere. And it was pleasant working with them because they know how things are done. And when we launch branding programs and innovation culture and all, it is always HR which organizes the event and all that. So that is not really such a thing. But yeah, I do realize that innovation, if at all there is a person or there is a department which has to be the custodian of innovation or culture within the company, it is the HR. It is nobody else. Okay? Why? Because obviously the organizations get so complex that a few people cannot take that decision. A owner or a manager or engineer cannot take that decision. And that's why when Rajesh said that you come and talk about anything, that is what he told me. So I said, wow, what a chance. I would have actually loved to show you pictures like Partho did. I do very good photography also. I've just launched a book on Mr. Rahul Bajaj, one large book. I don't know if you've seen it. I would have loved to talk about that project. But I think this is important because you are the custodians, you are the people who have to take this culture, you have to take this thing of innovation ahead. So irrespective of whoever talks how much about innovation, finally it's in your pocket. It's with you. Was that
Any last questions? No, not so many. One short question with one short answer, Sudhir.
Sir, do you have program for operatives? For operative people, unskilled employees or skilled employees, because there is a demand in automobile industry. They say we want to train 1,000 people in 1 week in innovation. So how do you do that? Yeah, we have a Ganpati holidays or we have Christmas holidays. Please train them in 7 days in innovation.
Yeah, I have no answer. I wish I knew more of HR, but I really don't. I've just got into this, but just, 1,000 people cannot be doing innovation. If 1,000 people are doing innovation, I'll tell you something. At this moment in India, 100 people are doing innovation. A country of 1 billion is surviving on innovation by 100 people. The moment you have 1,000 innovators, you can imagine where you will go. So we are probably calling what we mean by innovation is some other kind of magic, not the same magic. We should be clear about what is it that we want those people to do. So that is very, very important. Thank you.
Okay. We've run out of. Yeah, Rajesh, would you please?
Thank you.
Okay, what we're going to do now is change the schedule slightly for obvious reasons. Gadkari ji is on his way. Justice to it in just few minutes. Hopefully I can capture the salient highlights. Okay. If you've read your mailers, you would know what we have referred to him as. We are basically here to learn from the gurus, and we've referred to Gadkari Saab as the infrastructure development guru. Okay? It's very, very closely related to development of the country. Okay? And we're going to really have a very interesting session on the various kind of challenges, the work that has happened, and basically the blueprint for the next coming decade. Okay? Many of us know Gadkari Saab for probably one or two of his achievements. Let me just restate them for whatever it is worth. The Pune Express Highway was probably one of the first expressways in the country, and probably most of us here, there'll hardly be a person in this room who's not traveled by that. Okay, this didn't happen overnight. 55 flyovers in Mumbai and still on. Yeah, it's still counting. We are, of course, also going through a lot of, traffic pains because of that. But well, it's necessary. All this happened as part of the projects that the organization called MSRDC undertook. And MSRDC was founded by none other than Gadkari Saab. And that happened when he was heading the Public Works Department, 1995 onwards. Let me tell you a little bit more about him. Of course, most of us know him, or at least have heard that he's a fantastic orator, and we will get ample evidence of that. Okay, and that's obviously one of the main reasons why we are here. But the other things about him, after completing his Masters in Commerce and his LLB and his DBM, he's also been an entrepreneur and continues to be an entrepreneur. He is part of the founding team and continues to run about 4 or 5 organizations, including Polysac, Nikhil Furnitures and Appliances, Antyodaya Trust, Empress Paper Mills, and last but not the least, Softlink Technology. Okay, so even in the new age industry. He's got a very keen passion in very, very, I would say, timely and extremely contemporary issues like solar energy, water management, and alternative fuels. In fact, that was something that he was speaking about during the break. He worked very hard in 1995 onwards, when he was part of the government of Maharashtra, for establishing all-weather road connectivity for about 85 villages. Okay, so the rural road connectivity was something that he was extremely keen on having and completed a large part of it. Privatization of rural road infrastructure and having international standards is what he has been attempting to really flourish across the country. Let me tell you this, that MSRDC was one of the first organizations, and this was a government enterprise, that went to the capital markets and raised a record amount of 1180 crores. Okay? No other organization in the country has raised that kind of money. Now what's very interesting and important to all of us is his style of management, which in HR terms we refer to as reward and recognition. Okay? So he actually, his style of management is measuring who performs, reward them, who does not perform, penalize them. Okay? Very, very simple, but very important. Finally, I would end by saying, because there's a lot that he has to share with us, is that his entire passion and work did not end with all the work that happened when he was part of the government, but he continues to be, in fact he was selected as the chairman of the National Rural Road Development Committee. Yeah? So with that I welcome Gadkari Saab. Thanks very much for accepting my invitation.
मैं पॉलिटिशियन हूँ और आप प्रोफेशनल्स हैं। मैं कोशिश करता हूँ कि आपकी भाषा में आपसे मुझे जो कहना है वो कहने की कोशिश करूँ। पिछले 60 साल में हमारे देश में जिस प्रकार से मूलभूत सुविधाएं उपलब्ध होनी चाहिए थी उतनी नहीं हुई है। अगर प्रोग्रेस करना है तो दो सेक्टर इंपॉर्टेंट है, agriculture and industry. For industry, we need water, power, transport and communication. And for agriculture, हमको जरूरी है irrigation, power, seed, fertilizer and good technology. At the same time, loan available with the low interest in our present situation. दो सेक्टर्स अगर ठीक से काम करेंगे तो पर कैपिटा इनकम बढ़ेगा, जीडीपी बढ़ेगा, कैपिटल इन्वेस्टमेंट आएगी और एम्प्लॉयमेंट पोटेंशियल बढ़ेगा। और जब इसमें संतुलन नहीं रहता है तो क्या होता है वो मुंबई में आप अनुभव कर रहे हो। मैं अभी कह रहा था कि मेरी कुछ गलतियां हुई है, उसकी सजा मुझे मिली। सब फ्लाईओवर बनाने के वजह माहिम जंक्शन को अगर मैं सुधार देता तो शायद वो था मेरे प्रोग्राम में, पर वो मैंने वो नेवी के झगड़े में रुक गया और जिससे कारण रोज 20-20, 25-25 घंटे वही समय खराब होता है। कभी कभी मैं कहता हूँ कि मेरे घर से मलबारी से या बरेली से पुणे जाना आसान हो गया, पर ये इधर अंधेरी और बोरीवली आना मुश्किल हो गया, इतना प्रॉब्लम है। ये क्यों हुआ है? गरीबी, भूखमरी, बेरोजगारी हमारे देश में जो है, इसका कारण क्या है? इसका कारण, इसका संबंध किसी के जात, पंथ, धर्म और भाषा से नहीं है। This is related with the wrong economic policies of the government. 47 के बाद 3 विचारों की चर्चाएं चल रही थी, सोशलिज्म, कम्युनिज्म और पूंजीवाद, कैपिटलिज्म। अब ये तीनों वादों का मैं तो किसी वाद के ऊपर बात नहीं करना वाला, ना किसी का मैं समर्थक। मैं इतनी बात जानता हूं कि 21वीं सदी की इकोनॉमी ये किताब में लिखे हुए विचारों से आगे चल नहीं सकती। द स्पिरिट इज गुड, उद्दिष्ट अच्छा है। सर्वे पे सुखेन संतु सर्वे संतु निरामया, सबको अच्छा होना चाहिए, सबको अच्छी सुख, समृद्धि, संपन्नता मिलनी चाहिए, रोजगार मिलना चाहिए, गरीबी हटनी चाहिए। द स्पिरिट इज गुड, पर जो माध्यम बताया वो गलत है। 47 के बाद आज तक पब्लिक सेक्टर में 5,60,000 करोड़ की इन्वेस्टमेंट आई है। मुझे अभी एग्जैक्ट यूनिवर्सिटी से जो डाटा मिला उससे मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ, उसमें से 98% इन्वेस्टमेंट डेट हो गई। आज सुबह मैं निकलने के पहले जनरेशन कंपनी के हमारे स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के बड़े IAS ऑफिसर मुझे मिलने के लिए आए थे। हम बात करें तो वो कह रहे थे कि हम लोग ये पावर में जा रहे हैं, मैं भी पावर सेक्टर में हूँ, तो चर्चा हो रही थी। तो बेल की कैपेसिटी हर साल 6000 मेगावाट इक्विपमेंट बनाने की है और चाइना में अभी ऐसी 13 कंपनीज हैं कि जिनकी पर ईयर कैपेसिटी 60 to 90,000 मेगावाट पर ईयर बनाने की हुई है और वो भी 3-3 साल के लिए बुक है। अगर भेल अपना 10 गुना भी एक्सपेंशन करती है तो भी इंडिया की रिक्वायरमेंट पूरी नहीं हो सकती। प्रेजेंटली हमारे पास 60,000 70,000 मेगावाट के ऑर्डर्स है देश में, और जबकि हमारे देश में इतना पैसा देश के बाहर जा रहा है क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ टरबाइन और बॉयलर और इसके लिए बड़ी कंपनीज नहीं है, जो है उनकी प्रोडक्टेड कैपेसिटी कम है। ऐसे बाकी अनेक क्षेत्र में क्रूड में 2,80,000 करोड़ का हमारा इंपोर्ट है। मैं प्रयास करते रहा हूँ डाइवर्सिफिकेशन ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर टूवर्ड्स एनर्जी एंड पावर सेक्टर। मुझे कभी कभी बड़ा दर्द होता है कि देश में हमारे सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर्स इतने डॉलर्स हमारे देश के लिए लाते हैं और हम लोग ऐसे इसमें जो हमारे देश में कोई बहुत बड़ी टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं है हम हमारे देश से बाहर डाल देते हैं, जबकि ऐसी बातों पर तो आवश्यकता है। मुझे लगता है कि इसमें बहुत सी इकोनॉमिक रिवोल्यूशन होने की जरूरत है। 47 के बाद ये जितने गवर्नमेंट